to.
We should be live right now.
Is there something specific you have to do?
So go to my channel.
Okay, what's your channel?
Okay, I'm gonna
Is there
link to you right now
something
the live
specific
stream.
you have to do? Yeah.
It's gonna be linked in chat.
Okay. Got it.
There we go.
Cool.
And I can switch over and see if people are even talking. So yeah, just link that to the Reddit.
Okay, you got it.
And I'll mute this here.
Cool.
Okay, we're live and audible.
Cool. There's 9 people online on Reddit, so
9 people can
Is
join.
although there's 5 of us here, so maybe only 4 more than that.
So when we get to the line, or did we eat lobsters in the past, that or in front of did we eat lobsters in the past? Why
Mhm.
is it there?
Good question.
It feels to me that it represents, like in English, that represents that there's a sentence before that, but the sentence before that does not work with the sentence, did we eat lobsters in the past? It's like, where do you learn to smell ice cream, or did we eat lobsters in the past?
Yeah, does anybody know Spanish?
David does.
David,
David, is
does it
it
make
pretty
sense to
common?
Spanish?
Is what common?
Is it common to, like, start a sentence with "or"?
No,
And what
definitely
does
not.
that mean? Okay.
It's not common. That's a continuation of a different sentence.
So it's just as weird in Spanish as it is in English, is it?
Yeah.
Cool, alright.
I've wondered that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have in data, we have the official poem. Okay. Translated, and I had it translated to I don't know where I got that, but it's he or you. So go straight. You can do it, or he can do it.
Yeah, which I feel like it's gotta be you because he can do it just doesn't make sense because the person we're talking about isn't doing any actions in the present, like, they're from the past, as
Mhm.
most of us have assumed. But
And we have the solve for look at the numbers if you were a crow today. We have that solved.
yeah.
And that is and does that really get us any further? Because that's what we were doing that already. We were measuring things from
Yeah.
point A to point B.
Yeah, it's just kind of thrown me off personally, but
But
It's throwing me
what it
off because
does
I don't
say
know where to measure from.
yeah, exactly.
right. What it does say, though, is Captain Sparrow, Long John Silver, and Indiana Jones. Why throw all 3 of those in? Is that part of the hint, or is it just 3 random people that he wanted to name?
I don't know. I was wondering that myself. Yeah, he just threw out those names and
My guess is
I'm not
it's
sure.
random. My guess is it's random because he didn't want us to think that it was just one person, like, "Oh, Indiana Jones," because he already said the only pop culture reference was Goonies.
Hmm.
So my guess
And
is
but
he threw in more people so that it wouldn't be like, "Oh, it's from one movie," or whatever.
But maybe we should go research how they plotted distances.
That
Did
is
they
true.
though?
Captain Sparrow, Long John Silver, and Indiana Jones. How did they plot distances? Also, I was thinking something about oh, my brain just went way off track there. Where was it that he changed the measurements up? From 30 to 50 feet?
Like, are you saying with this new clue,
Yeah.
or
Oh, I see it.
yeah,
57. 57
so
meters. But what is 57 meters?
I don't. 57 meters is like very big. It's like, so when I put in 36 meters, it gave me 118 feet. So that's like, yeah, when you're talking 57 meters, I mean, your guy that you're picking for who he is in quotation marks is going to be an old dude, so like he's going to be in his, I can't remember, like 80s or 100 years old. So
It's
I
187 feet.
Wait, you're
But
saying that you're converting the age to meters
well,
from
I don't know. I don't know if that's what, like, they're trying to say, or I don't know. That's a good discussion. Is that what they're trying to say, or
right.
is it just the distance between point A, point B gives you your distance, and it's that far off the trail? Which is opposite of, I guess what I'm saying is, like, yeah, you're now looking at 185 feet versus where before they said you were 30 to 50 feet. So I'm kind of confused on that.
I think the difference is they said it's 30 to 50 feet off the trail, but the measurement tells you when to get off the trail. So you're measuring probably from the beginning of the trail
From the beginning. Okay.
or from wherever your starting point was. You're measuring your number in meters, apparently, because that's what the picture had. And then when you get to that point on the trail, that's when you go off 30 feet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're trying to say.
So the 57 meters is just the example of what they were saying. Hey, this is how you measure. Now,
Like
if
your
someone
numbers.
doesn't know how to do the Google Maps, you open Google Maps, you go to where you think something is, and you hold down, and then a little icon will pop up, and then below that in the like task bar area will say measure, or like a measure thing. And then you
Yep.
click on that and you'll be able to measure, because people got confused about that. They're like, how do we do that?
Yeah.
Well, it's not rocket science.
But I found out today you can't be clicking on like a location that has like, so if it's a trailhead and you click on, like I just clicked on Bell Canyon Trail random. So if you click on it and it has like the reviews and the photos, you can't measure from there. So you have to click a random point next to it to measure from, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean, because I've done that several times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, where you drop a pin, or a, like, a location has a
If
name
you
or
click
whatever.
on a specific location, yeah, then you
Yes,
can't. It has to be a random pin that you're
it
holding
does.
down.
Does.
Captain Sparrow, Long John Silver, Indiana Jones all needed ways to measure distance. In order to know exactly where to step off the trail, you will need to measure the distance too. You could place it off, or you could pace it off, although you could pace it off. We recommend something more modern. Well, if they paced it, right, between 30 to 50, then why do we need something modern?
That's what I'm saying. You're plugging your number in for when to start looking 30 to 50 feet off the trail. They're giving you a very specific point to get off the trail. And that's going to be whatever your number is of the age. So in their example, their age +1 would be 57. So then they measured from the start of the trail to a point in the trail just to make it straight as a crow flies. And then they're saying, okay, when you get to this point on the trail,
Wait, they're
that's when you
57
start
years
looking
old?
30 to... No, that's what I'm just saying. Their example was 57.
Oh, okay.
So their example, their age was 57, but that doesn't mean that's the age.
So you think that the age in meters is where you plug your points in, your point A and point B. Get off the trail and look 30 to 50 feet outward.
Yep. That's my guess.
Okay.
Because otherwise, like you're saying, why would you have two numbers? Because why would they tell us 30 to 50 feet off the trail if we needed a specific number? They wouldn't tell us that.
So you're looking at the 57 as a clue in itself.
No,
Well,
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying
example clue.
it's an example, yeah. So I think,
Example.
if you're looking at, I don't know, a couple people were looking at like Brigham Young,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like 40 something. 46, maybe. So then you
Now,
would.
I know they said this is an example, but what if?
Uh-huh.
What if it's really 57 feet?
What if it's really right there?
I don't think they would do that, personally, but
But who's gonna look right there? They said this is just an example, but who's gonna look? Why don't somebody take a look?
Wouldn't that be so messed up? They gave you the solve and nobody goes and looks, like, because everybody's thinking, oh, come on, they wouldn't do
Yeah,
that.
why
And
would
then
I look at a place no one would look?
that would be funny.
Now go back
I
to
mean, it
his
wouldn't be
original.
funny, but
Right. Go back to his original poem. Is a place where no one would look. Right. Let's do that real fast. In a quaint small town, by sparkling light, two friends set off in the dead of the night. Dave with his maps and John with his grin. They searched for the spot so the hunt could begin. Through woods they wandered under skies so blue. Think about that blue. The perfect location for a chest they pursued. Here by the oaks, John would sometimes suggest. But what if it's found? What then of our quest? By the old mill, and where waters danced and played, Dave pondered deeply in the dappled shade. Perhaps this spot, where secrets softly flow, would keep our treasure where no one would go. Perhaps this spot. By the ancient ruins where history stayed, their treasure was hidden in the shadows it laid. Okay. Why don't we look into where they're at and see just see if that's out of bounds anyways?
I think it is. It's I know the place. I think it's in St. George area, but I could be wrong.
Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up.
But the poem, if anyone's confused where that was coming from, that was posted on John's Instagram a few days before they posted the hunt poem. But I saw
I
a
was
screenshot.
confused.
I saw a screenshot of somebody asking John specifically if that poem was related at all to the treasure hunt or if it was just for fun, and he replied, just for fun.
Okay.
So I'm not looking
Okay.
into that poem as official clues.
It doesn't look like this place is even in Utah.
What?
Maybe I spelled this wrong. I definitely spelled this wrong.
What place is it? I forgot what it was.
I'm still not getting a hit on this. Let me take out Utah. This is in Arizona.
Okay, so they picked a place that's not even in Utah.
They're
Way.
like, hey, we're going to Arizona. Let's see what that looks like. I'm just gonna fly in there and see what that looks like. And well, maybe. I mean, it's not spelt the same. Well, no, it is. No, it is.
Havasu Falls.
Yeah.
Havasu Pai.
Go to
Yeah.
Arizona.
Oh, Lake Havasu. Okay.
Lake Havasu is really blue.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's in Arizona. I was confused because my sister had been there, but I guess they went to Arizona to go hike it. So
I guess we're going we're going pretty far for this treasure, huh?
they did say it's in Utah, right? Can we confirm that?
I think the boundary map confirms that.
Oh yeah, you're right. Definitely confirms.
The fact that they pulled that up. Have they been on this trail?
It's a cool trail. I've heard a lot of cool things about it. But it's definitely intense.
Rattlesnake Central. Wow, people live down here. That's crazy. Well, that's off topic.
Anyway, we were what were we talking about before? We were talking about the clue, the 27.
Yeah, the
Does
new
anybody
clue
else?
and the
Okay,
distance.
let's go through the
and-
clues. Let's go through the clues one by one. So for the boundaries map, do you guys? Okay, so I think we're 100% that the shadow is still in the boundaries. It's just not where the treasure's at.
Agreed.
Okay.
For sure.
It's on
Let's
the
clarify.
way there.
I think that's
Clarify.
100%.
Lobsters versus locusts. Clue number 2. It's lobsters. It's not locusts. Lobster versus locusts. So, lobsters, not locusts. What I want to point out, and I have to point this out, we're talking about plural, singular, past, present. This is lobsters, not lobster.
That's a good point.
Does
Everybody
say
that's out there looking for
lobsters, not-
lobster claws, stop looking for lobster claws. Go look for the lobsters. Where's the lobsters at?
Oh man, Marty, why do you gotta bring that up now? You're debunking my solve.
Stop looking for the
I hadn't-
lobster claws.
I hadn't thought about that.
Not to give too much information about my solves or anything, but I just see this so much, and it's a repetitive thing over and over and over. And I'm like, why are they looking for lobster claws when it's lobsters? Do we have lobsters? Did we eat lobsters in the past?
So do you think that's pointing to, because I think that's pointing to like the Bonneville Shoreline Trail.
It could be, but we got to remember that it's not any restaurant or business. We have to follow the rules, right? And
Right.
people tend to not follow the rules, and I've seen some things on Facebook where people just go out of boundaries.
Yep.
Just to get back into boundaries. And I've heard this before. Can we go out of boundaries as long as it leads back into boundaries? And when you're doing your lines, I don't think you can. But if you're doing your research, yeah, you can go out of boundaries. If in research, if it's like Escalante, does it tie back into Utah? If it ties back into Utah in the boundaries, then yes. If it's completely out of the boundaries, like a restaurant that's in St. George, and we're tying that back into the boundaries with a line that draws to, let's just give Temple Square, that draws to Temple Square. That's out of the boundaries. That line goes out of the boundaries. That won't work. That shouldn't work. That's not the way we're supposed to be doing it.
Yeah.
But that's how I see people doing it. So I'm like, okay.
I know there's some like really cool stuff outside of boundaries that would be cool for solve, but unfortunately it's not. Doesn't work.
I mean, there's an Escalante, Utah, for crying out loud.
The Grand Staircase. That one looks cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Let's go to the third clue. I know people have asked this a lot, and if you haven't thought about it, think about it. What are these AI images? And these AI images are stuff that they have used in the past as well. So hint number 3 says, maybe one day we will do an urban treasure hunt, but it's not this hunt. So
But they didn't clarify whether you could have clues that are still urban.
right. And that doesn't
Or-
mean that it's not on the mountain right by somebody's house.
Yeah, and he did say that that doesn't mean it can't be suburban. It just can't be urban.
Right. Who just dropped call? Let's see. I don't know who was here. Okay.
Oh, the other guy.
Oh, okay. The chest is hidden somewhere along one of the many. He's like, I found it. He disconnected. The chest is hidden somewhere along one of the many beautiful trails in the mountains. Hint number 4 is insane. And it doesn't really give us much, but it's insane. We can't reveal who he is just yet, because everybody's like, who is he? But what this tells me is they will reveal who he is. That they can't do it yet.
Or maybe they won't reveal it till the treasure is found.
It's possible. When we wrote the poem, we added one extra layer of complexity. One extra layer, huh? We're referring to the year of his age. For example, the day after your 18th birthday would be the first day of your 19th year, so take his age and add 1.
This is the stupidest one.
It's like, how, and like Nikki
Just
said,
one
how
layer.
would we have known this?
What, David?
Oh, I was saying just one layer.
Hmm. Yeah.
How would we have known that? That's my stomach. Where did you go? I'm trying to figure out where he went.
You know, it's funny that they say that the poem's all you need, but I think the hints and the poem are needed.
Yeah.
There were 17 hints last year.
Last year was the
Yeah.
longest it's ever been.
So hint number 2 now. I don't think I skipped any. If I did, let me know. Well, maybe I did. Yeah, hint number 1. Okay. Just a little out of order. We hope everyone had an amazing 4th of July over the last few weeks. We have seen some great solves. The poem hunt is like a big puzzle. You can only find the chest when each correct piece is fit all together. The difficult part is distinguishing between the correct and incorrect pieces. The good news is we are beginning to see a lot of correct pieces out there. Oh,
Which is
let's break
encouraging.
that down. There's correct pieces out there, but you need to put them together now.
They didn't say
Okay.
all the correct pieces were out there.
Right. It says we're beginning to see a lot of correct pieces out there.
Mm-hmm.
Can they specify by who? So we can go talk to them. Anyway, at an average pace, the treasure chest is between a 0 to 90-minute hike, and I read something on Reddit that was like, oh, so there's 0 miles per hour? There's a point where you can go 0 miles per hour? Yeah, but okay. Just get out of your car and there it is.
Yeah.
The image is weird. Why does it have a clock on a rock?
Well, if I told you that, that'd be giving away something. You just brought
Oh,
that up. Okay, now people
Just
know.
just send it to me.
Now people
You're
know.
good.
All right.
so that's integral to your solve, huh?
Well, I'm not gonna talk about it, but there's
Oh,
no need
come
to venture
on.
too far. He's literally saying, "Don't go too far. Like, don't do it. Don't cross the whole entire Wasatch Mountain Range looking for it." Well, here's the thing. At this rate, John, everybody's crossing the whole entire Wasatch Mountain Range because we have
Yeah,
no real idea of even where to start.
exactly. We could start in the middle of a trail.
But if you start with Goonies, which is the lighthouse, or a freezer of some sort, I don't know, because that's where the ice cream was. Or if you start at some ice cream place, there's only one lighthouse. That's a good starting point. Then what? Go through the choir. So you guys know about the Ogden underneath the ground, right? Tunnels?
In Ogden or in Salt Lake?
Ogden.
No, I didn't know about that.
You just go look that up. Go look that up. But there's that. But, and I say that because they're underground doing this whole entire thing, but I'm not saying go underground to find anything. No. That's weird though.
That ties into what we were talking about yesterday, but can't really go into that.
And then we have the Captain Sparrow, Long John Silver. Oh, should we be looking at Long John Silver's? The restaurant.
I think they said no restaurants for the Red Lobster thing.
There we go. No lobster restaurants.
It didn't say no ice cream restaurants, but they haven't used any restaurants in the past for
Right,
any.
and that's kind of, to me, that would be bombarding these restaurants with questions,
Right.
and that's too much to put on a restaurant. So then I have all the previous poems here and their solves. One thing that I want to pull up is a Reddit post. This Reddit post is important. Study of clues used in the past, but they're not going to do this because they know this is what people are doing. We can see the breakdown of the 2023. We got the map directions start in the green areas. We got the place description is in the blue areas. And the math, nobody liked that, was in the purple. So that was last year's. Nobody cares about last year's. Last year's happened because they were saying, hey, this is too hard. Or this is too easy. Let's make it harder. People are figuring it out too fast. So usually they say within the third line, you should be on the path. But
And yeah,
if we look at that one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Your seventh line is the place description. The name of the place is your third line. On the 2021, then it was the first line. And then the second line was on 2022, the name of the place. And then let's not even talk about 2023. That makes no sense. They changed it up. And then they're going to change it up again.
I feel like this year could be different than any other. They either went back to the same formula or they tried to just still do something different but make it a little bit easier.
Right. I need that. Let me see where he went. Oh, He said his earbuds died. He's trying to get back in.
I saw that.
Oh, we got 3 people watching in the stream. That's cool. I'm one of them. So we got 2 people watching in the stream. How much you guys are the other 2? Come
I'm
join
not.
the Discord.
It is 1:36 something here.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have
But
more
man,
tomorrow.
if you're up late and you're wanting to think, come to the Discord and start thinking with us. Thinkers. Thinkers only. Don't give away your solves. Do not give away your solves. There's a lot of people in here. And we're just here to kind of toss ideas around. So if you catch something by what somebody's saying, write it down. Say, hey, that's cool. If you say something and you're like, oh man, I regret saying that, then you said it. If you say it, you said it. So keep what you want to yourself. Be careful. Because we're all pirates in here looking for that treasure. If you come in and you want to be a lurker, well, come in and be a lurker. That's cool. So let's figure this out. You guys, give me something. Give me something. Let's go back to Utah, and because I'm in Arizona right now. Let's go back to Utah. Let's do something here. Give me 1 second. I should be charging both my headphones, not just one. What is the most asked question?
Is he?
Who is
Yeah.
he?
Who is
So
he?
if we keep asking these questions like who is he, or what is the lobster locust, or what is the I'm sorry, John. I'm putting you out on the spot here. What's the shortcut to the choir? Ice cream. What does that mean? Now we did get the number as if you were a crow. We got that. He gave us that. That's cool. Check that off on your list. Boom.
But he didn't give
Done.
us a number.
The age he arrived. Who is he? Who is he? All right. There's not much I can really say without giving my clues away, but I will try to. I'll try to talk about this. I do think I know who he is, and when he arrived. And you have to really pay attention to everything in the whole entire poem to understand that part. That's my clue.
All right.
If you can pay attention to the poems correctly, let's see. Cortez, right? If you suffer pain, that's cured with gold.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he say, Cortez?
Us Spaniards have a wait. Let me look it up again.
No, a sickness of the heart that only gold can cure.
Yeah.
Look for the shortcut where the choir sings. That could be any choir. It could be a choir of things. But when we're looking at this, now let's look at this. This is crazy when you start looking at it. When you actually start looking at it. Let's go to Let's go. We have to go to the Spanish part of it. Okay. Okay, the little d. Why is that little d there? Okay. Why is the or there? Why is the or there? Sentence comes before. If you suffer pain that is cured with gold, look for the shortcut where the choir sings. I don't know how much I can give away on that. People are probably like, well, this is a worthless stream. You can't give nothing away. Find the place for which it is named. I want to talk about that because I think that's fair to talk about. I honestly think that this is fair to talk about. I will talk about it. When you're looking for a place for which it is named, you are looking for the Father, not the Son. And to only get to the Son, you need to get to the Father to get to the Son. Let me rephrase this. If you're looking for John Jr., right, you're in the wrong area. You need to be looking for John Sr. in order to find John Jr. because John Jr., his name might not even be John Jr., but he's named still after his father. You first need to find the Father to find the Son. So, find the place for which it is named. Some people look at that and they say, find a place for something that it's named after. For something that it's named after. Find the place for something that is named after. When you put after into it, you start to understand that you need to find the place it is named after. So, John Jr. is named after his father, John Sr. Go to John Sr. to find John Jr. Now, how do I know this? Because this was in one of his old poems. You had to find the Wasatch Mountains to find Wasatch Boulevard. It was that simple. So I think that's a free one. That's free. There you guys go. That's free. Where do you learn to smell ice cream? I'm not telling you. You have to decode that. The or in there, I believe, is super important, and it could have a previous sentence before that, or it could literally be there for a serious reason. But at that point, we're looking at is that where do you learn to smell ice cream with the little d, right? I'm trying to break this down. Or did we eat lobsters in the past? Lobsters, not lobster. Please stop looking for lobster claws. I love that you can look on a map and see lobsters everywhere. You can see birds everywhere. You can see lobsters everywhere. You can see ice cream sometimes. Sometimes. When you look at the sunrise again, yeah, that could be a switchback. That could be going up, going down, going up. So, not a straight trail, but a trail that zigzags. That takes you up to a point and then back down, and back up to a point and back down. You could be looking for let's keep that to myself. All right. Go straight. You can do it. You said that could be about the Y, but we don't know if the Y is private property. So you'd have to look that up because the signs on there are like, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, that's just something somebody else said, but I thought it was a cool idea.
I think this is a closing line. Now you're close. One last clue. I just think that's a closing line. If there's literally something to decipher there, that's stupid. Move to the place with the best view. The best view. Okay. Go back and look at the D. Pay attention to the D. It matters. It truly does. If you have understood what the D means, You've unlocked a lot, I think, a lot. And I think his best clue was the D, to pay attention to it. If I
I
was
still
to
don't know
say,
what that means.
if I was to say where you would find yourself on the trail, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 4th and 5th line that you'd find yourself
Yeah.
on the trail. But some people are out there saying that it would be like the 7th, 8th, 9th. Well, figure out what the D is, and I think that you'll be on the trail. You could be out there looking like other people are that are looking for a D in the mountains somewhere. We have Goonies. Goonies goes back to, is that Oregon? That's Oregon, right? Was it filmed in
Yeah,
California?
it was Oregon, I'm pretty sure.
Or was it filmed in Oregon?
Oregon.
Okay. And just go research the Goonies, go watch it. Go scrub through it. I don't know. I scrubbed through it. I didn't really watch the whole entire thing again. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's not much in the movie that you're gonna be missing if you scrub through it, if you've seen it 100 times. So now let's go and answer another question about the Spanish. Spanish can be multiple ways. We have Spanish in Mexico, Spanish in Puerto Rico, Spanish in Spain. All of them speak a little bit differently, but it's mostly the same thing. You're mostly going to come out with the same exact English translation. Is that correct? Or is it something we're missing? I don't think that it would be that difficult to where you'd have to go find somebody from all 3 locations to help you translate it in all 3, or, to find how to speak that in Spanish in 3 different ways. Maybe
Yeah, I think if
ChatGPT.
that was the case, they would hint to it in the poem.
So let's go over one thing. Why don't we not, or why are we supposed to stay away from ChatGPT? Because it gives you false answers, and a lot of them. It makes things up. It's supposed to be intelligent. Sorry to the OpenAI team, but
Yeah, I saw somebody post on Reddit that ChatGPT had told them some bullcrap about how there was a history of eating lobsters at BYU.
yeah, no, there's this
They
thing
were
going on. Yeah. That thing that there's the lobsters on the campus were banned and all that kind of stuff. There's this whole entire
Yeah.
BYU thing. Yeah. Ignore that. Why would you even look into something like that? You'd have to go find old posts where they were talking about that kind of stuff, and that's not something I believe that any of this, and this is my belief. So, Nikki, there was something that I keep saying over and over, that when you go down a path, you got to make sure that you're not making it your own path. What's that called?
Confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias. So make that a serious rule about confirmation bias. What I want you to do in this is what David said. Try to prove yourself wrong more than right.
You know what I do? I just have somebody look at it who doesn't know anything about the poem and say, does this make any sense to you whatsoever?
I was going to say something, but no.
Because some of my solves, people are like, what are you talking about? What are you even talking about? Then I know they're not right.
You know what's crazy is if John's looking at all these stuff, right? And these people are doing like these confirmation bias, like it's all about their, what they believe. And part of what they are saying is accurate. And maybe that's what John is saying, like, hey, wait, people are actually figuring it out, but not figuring it out because they're not putting it together correctly. Because they start to understand it and then stop understanding it. And once you stop understanding it, it's kind of like you're doing a puzzle and you're like, well, I guess this piece can just go right here because it looks like it can fit. And then you're forcing it to fit. And then finally it does fit. And you're like, yay, look at me, Ma, I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I think we all
Well,
have pieces of it. I mean, he mentioned that last year. We all had good solves on a piece of it, but we weren't putting it all together.
Right.
And there was one point, I mean, I was just reaching for straws last year, and I was looking up on the Ochre Mountains and this weird story about these ski lifts that used to be up there. And then there was this ski lift crash, and I created this whole like theory around it. And I went back
You
and
went
looked
in
at
on
it.
that, huh?
And I went back and looked at it, and I'm like, holy hell, what was I talking about? Because I'm like, it's nowhere that I've looked, You hike the whole mountains. And so, yeah, I conjured up this whole story about these these weird random ski lifts on the Ochre Mountains. Oh, man. Up Farnsworth Peak. You should look up the story someday. It's fascinating.
it's funny.
So let me,
And Farnsworth, and because he invented the TV,
right.
all this stuff. Anyway, it's kind of
Let me
interesting.
just, if you're watching the stream, let me just do this real quick and just help you out. East of I-15 is the Treasure is not in the city at all. So that might help you just by not looking at the city. Stop even looking at the city. Because when you start going, okay, there's a lot of space to cover here. There's a lot of land to cover here, right? And you're looking out towards the city, your eyes get distracted. So block it off. There was somebody that was really smart that said read the lines one by one and cover up one line and really just go through the solve one by one, covering up each line at a time. Stop letting it distract you. So covering up the whole city, what do you have left but the whole Wasatch Mountains with no distractions?
Yeah, the Wasatch Front and the Wasatch Back, I guess, because some of that's inbound still.
Yeah. So let's change colors here and let's kind of just draw a little area.
And you can, knock out some places. So, Mill Creek Canyon is a paid canyon. Knock that out. American Fork Canyon's a paid canyon. Knock that out.
You
And
can
parts
also
of
look
the
at
city,
you won't have
ski
service,
resorts.
Yeah,
Where there's
knock
no
out
service.
ski
Okay.
resorts.
All the
and
ski
anywhere you won't have
resorts,
service.
no service. There we go. Well, yeah, even if you don't have service for 5 minutes, knock it out. So can we actually get a service map area?
Well, we gotta be a little careful there because I mean, I think we were talking about this earlier. Verizon has different cell service than T-Mobile.
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't know. You'd have to get two phones in the same area with different servers to figure out, that part.
But I
Like
mean, it's
T-Mobile
like
sucks.
barely better. It's like barely better. Like, I was at a campsite last week with some people, and like I had service going in and out because I was on Verizon, but most of them had like no service. But like, I'm just saying, if it's bad enough that some people don't have service, then you can probably knock it out. Because he said you should have service the whole time, not that it's like barely have a tiny bit of service.
Well, that's because he has to put his cameras up there.
Yeah, he's got to have a good connection. Otherwise, he won't know when treasure's been found.
Is the service he's talking about GPS service, like GPS phone service? No. But let's do something funny for a second. So if you can see my stream at all, I'm just gonna go through and I'm just gonna pick a random spot. Just, like shake the map up, click a random spot, and go in and see if we can see a lobster claw. Let's see if we can find one.
How do you
Hey,
know
I'm
which
gonna hop
canyons
off.
are paid for?
Oh, found a
Right,
lobster
see?
claw. I think this looks like a lobster claw. That's one.
I'm gonna get off because I have to go to
Alrighty.
bed.
Alright, see?
But I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Here's another lobster claw. And this is what I mean about stop looking for lobster claws. Like they're everywhere. You start seeing everything everywhere. I got another lobster claw. What's that?
How do you know which canyons are paid for?
You can Google it actually.
Oh, okay. It was
Google.
American Fork and what other one?
Well, actually, there is on Reddit. I should probably link it to the Discord, but on Reddit, there's a whole entire spreadsheet that was done on which is paid and which is free. But
Oh,
even
that'd be
then,
nice.
yeah, even then, you got to think about, can you still get up to them? Because it's really about the parking. Can you still get up to them
Right.
in a different way?
So, Time Bomb, David, I guess. The Mill Creek Canyon is a paid canyon. And
Oh,
American
okay.
Fork Canyon is a paid canyon.
All right, let's see here.
That's good to know.
Yeah, and you can knock out the ski resorts.
All right.
But you can still park at the ski resorts to get to a trail.
Man, I have so many things I want to say. It's just when you start saying things. So we're not trying to give things away. We're just trying to
Right.
help people get on the right
Ju-
track.
Just quit the stream for now.
We could quit
And
the
we
stream.
Yeah.
We have some people watching. Um,
Might
I
be
was going
good
to
enough.
tell you, did I mention elevation? Elevation's important. Let me mention that. When you're hiking, before you go to your hike, we say, hey, that's where I think it is. Research the elevation of that, because let's just say it's Mount Timpanogos, okay? And you're like really, really, really on that. You're like, hey, that's definitely it. It has to be it. You're 100% that's it. Let's go look at the elevation on some of that. If I didn't have these things over here, I would be able to understand what I'm doing on Google Maps better than I am. All right. So that's Mill Canyon Peak. I saw the Reddit post about bald. If you know, you know. Twin Peaks, and then next to that should be Mount Timpanogos, yeah? At this point, I'm typing it in. I'm just gonna do the Timberwolves golf course. Why not? And that's White Mountain. Okay. So just look at Provo Peak. Like, I mean, go to the back of this. However this turns. And you're like, well, maybe that trail is it. The elevation on that is like crazy. You really don't want to get yourself hurt by doing something stupid. And if this is safe, then you're not going to be going on very steep or cliffy kind of hikes. No, I do. I think that at this point, I'm going to cut the stream because we've talked about, I think we talked about a lot. Hold on one second.